During a recent quarterly review, several European subsidiaries reported postponing the rollout of a new large language model because the internal compliance team flagged the project as high risk under the EU AI Act. The same model, already deployed in the United States, faced no such hurdle. This contrast illustrates how the Act's risk classification can directly alter deployment timelines, budgeting decisions, and even the choice of architecture. Companies now must map each intended use case to the Act's criteria before any code reaches production, turning what was once a purely technical decision into a regulatory one. The shift also forces data science teams to involve legal counsel early, increasing cross-functional coordination. To understand the impact, it helps to recap the EU AI Act structure. Adopted in 2021 and entering provisional application in 2023, the regulation defines high-risk AI systems through a set of criteria, including the sector, e.g., critical infrastructure, law enforcement, and the intended purpose, e.g., biometric identification, decision-making that affects legal rights. Providers must conduct a conformity assessment, maintain detailed documentation, and ensure post-market monitoring. The Act also requires a risk management system that addresses data quality, transparency, and human oversight. These obligations apply to both the model itself and the specific use case, meaning that a generic model can be low risk in one context but high risk in another. The classification mechanism forces enterprises to treat model deployment as a two-step decision. First, they assess whether the model's capabilities fall within any of the high-risk categories listed in Annex 2 of the Act. Second, they evaluate the concrete application. For example, a language model used to draft internal emails may be low risk, while the same model integrated into an automated hiring tool that influences employment decisions triggers high-risk status. This distinction pushes firms to either redesign workflows, add human-in-the-loop safeguards, or select alternative models that meet the lower risk threshold. In practice, compliance teams often request a risk impact matrix before any cloud-based inference service is provisioned. Two common misunderstandings often lead to suboptimal choices. First, many assume that any large-scale model automatically qualifies as high risk, but the Act ties risk to the specific function, not merely size or architecture. Consequently, a modest model can be high risk if used for biometric surveillance, while a massive transformer may remain low risk in a purely advisory role. Second, organizations frequently overlook the cost of compliance, documentation, third-party audits, and continuous monitoring can add up to several €100,000 annually, which may outweigh the performance advantage of a cutting-edge model. Recognizing these nuances helps firms balance regulatory burden against technical benefit, and avoids both over-engineering and regulatory blind spots. In summary, the EU AI Act's high-risk classification turns model deployment into a regulated process, requiring enterprises to map capabilities to specific use cases, produce extensive documentation, and often embed human oversight. Companies that integrate compliance early can avoid costly redesigns and maintain competitive timelines, while those that treat the Act as an afterthought risk delays or penalties. The practical steps include building a cross-functional risk assessment board, selecting models with documented compliance pathways, and budgeting for ongoing monitoring. If you found this analysis useful, consider subscribing to the Latent Dispatch for regular, source-backed updates on AI policy and its real-world impact. Your support helps us keep delivering clear, evidence-based content.